On the news tonight, Governor Sheriff Oborewori presents staff of office to the Asagba of Asaba, Obi Professor Epiphany Azinge. Senate passes President Bola Tinubu's tax reform bills, second reading. House of Representatives urges Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) to replace obsolete meters at no cost for consumers. Abroad, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatens attacks Ukraine's government officers. Good evening. Welcome to Delta TV Main News Tonight. My name is Francis Ofulue. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has presented staff of office to the Asagba of Asaba, Obi Professor Epiphany Chibogu Azinge San, with a charge on him to champion the unity and development of his domain. Ejime Ujeme now reports.
The event, which took place at the Ogwauku Ahaba, Ogbilo Street, Asaba, was attended by the State Deputy Governor, Samonde Onyeme, Honorable Ngozi Okoli of the House of Representatives, Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Ato Akpo, Senator Peter Nwoboshi, traditional rulers, and other top government functionaries. Governor Oborewori said one of his goals was to make the state conducive for investors, pointing out that all hands must be on deck to ensure that communities and urban centers were safe and secured for both domestic and foreign investors. While congratulating the new Asagba on his successful ascension to the throne of his forefathers, the governor noted that Asaba was witnessing influx of strangers, hence the need for all to be at alert. The governor equally charged other traditional rulers in the state and their subjects to guard against acts capable of truncating peace and security. He described the new traditional ruler as a dynamic personality, thoughtful leader, purpose-driven, and a consensus builder, adding that he was optimistic the monarch would make the people of Asaba and the state proud.
The people of Asaba are a blessed people. They have the unique privilege of being ruled by renowned intellectuals.
The governor, who underscored the importance of the traditional institution, said their roles in the current democratic dispensation cannot be overemphasized. He appealed to all indigents of Asaba to give their maximum support and cooperation to the Asaba for the accelerated development of the area.
Rest assured that Delta State government, under my watch, continue to partner with you and other traditional rulers in the state for the enactment of people-oriented laws and policies necessary for the prosperity, peace, and progress of all.
Welcoming guests earlier, Chairman of Oshimili South Council, Dr. Kevin Ezenyili, congratulated the Asagba on his selection, crowning, and presentation of staff of office, and charged him to remain a father to all his subjects.
Election as the traditional leader of Asaba Kingdom did not come as a surprise to us because of the level you have attained professionally and academically here in Nigeria and beyond.
Obi Professor Azinge, who clocked 69 early this month, is a senior advocate of Nigeria and also a holder of national honor of the Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON. He is a professor of law, a devout Catholic, and a knight of St. John International. The official presentation of staff of office to the Asagba of Asaba, Obi Professor Epiphany Chibogu Azinge, as the Asagba of Asaba by the governor, has finally put a seal on his selection as the new Asagba of Asaba. It is incumbent on all sons and daughters of Asaba, at home and in diaspora, to queue behind him in charting the way forward towards the socio-economic, political, and infrastructural transformation of the Delta State capital. For Delta TV News, Ejime Udueme reporting.
The State Deputy Governor Samonde Onyeme has reaffirmed the government's dedication to fostering a harmonious relationship with the state workforce. So Onyeme seminar organized by the Office of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Labor Relations and Sevicom at Asaba. The report.
The Deputy Governor, represented by Deputy Chief of Staff Honorable Ifeanyi Osakwe, emphasized that mutual understanding and cooperation between the government and its employees are essential for driving the state's development. He stressed that a productive and motivated workforce is the backbone of sustainable progress, urging all parties to prioritize dialogue and collaboration. The State Head of Service, Sir Reginald Bayoko, represented by the Permanent Secretary for Urban Renewal, Mrs. Charity Ehime, lauded the State Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, for his pro-worker policies. He described the Governor as a leader committed to the welfare of workers, urging union leaders to reciprocate his gesture by resolving disputes amicably and avoiding confrontational approaches. The Senior Policy Advisor to the Governor on Labor Relations and Sevicom, Right Honorable Fuke Keme Solomon, reiterated the importance of synergy between the government and union leaders. He emphasized that industrial harmony was crucial for achieving the MORE agenda under the leadership of Governor Oborewori.
As part of the MORE agenda, industrial harmony is a key factor, one key focal point. That, of course, you know that if there's no security, you can't have development. If there's no harmony, industrial harmony, we cannot do much in delivering service delivery. And service delivery is at the heart of service, it's at the heart of the market. So, what I'm trying to do is to continue to maintain the industrial peace, industrial relation between the government and labor, and that will enhance service delivery. But when the workforce is motivated, the workforce trusts the government, then it brings about the ability to discharge their functions, their duties.
One of the resource persons, Mrs. Ozulumba Yukeria, highlighted that sustainable development was only possible when industrial peace prevails.
From the lectures that have been delivered, we have been encouraged that they should not take laws into their hands. There are processes, there are procedures. They should follow the due process. The process must need is dialogue. They should dialogue with the government. They should negotiate and they should consult where necessary. Let there be a mutual relationship. Let the parties involved be carried along.
The seminar with the theme Enhancing Relationship Between Employers and Employees attracted labor leaders from the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC.
French President Emmanuel Macron today welcomed his counterpart at the Invalides Memorial Complex with his official visit by Nigerian's President Bola Tinubu in more than 2 decades. Tinubu today began a 2-day visit to France as both countries seek increased economic cooperation, with Paris looking to boost ties in English-speaking Africa following a series of setbacks with former allies on the continent. The 2 national anthems rang out in the courtyard of one of Paris' landmarks, kicking off a visit focused on encouraging economic partnerships between France and Africa's most populous country. President Macron has called for renewal of partnership between Paris and Africa since his 2017 election, and after a military coup and changing attitudes lessened France's influence on the continent. The French president said the trip is an opportunity to deepen the dynamic relationship between France and Nigeria. With soaring inflation and food prices, the visit represents an opportunity to tap economic investment for Nigeria. President Tinubu in a statement said the country was looking to build ties in agriculture, security, education, health, youth engagement, innovation, and energy transition. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has returned from Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, where he attended the inaugural international exhibition of extractive and energy resources, SAREX 2024 conference. The Vice President, while in Côte d'Ivoire, had called for strengthened governance, enhanced transparency, and collaboration among leaders and industry players to harness Africa's resources for sustainable development. He also reaffirmed the government's commitment to building an inclusive extractive industry anchored on the principles of transparency, regional partnerships, and local capacity development. The summit themed policies and strategies for the sustainable development of the extractive and energy industries brought together leaders from across Africa to discuss innovative solutions for resource management and energy security. The Senate has passed President Bola Tinubu's controversial tax reform bills for a second reading. The bills, which includes a bill for an act to establish the Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria and for other related matters 2024. A bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13, 2007, and enact the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act to establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, charged with powers of assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruable to the government of the Federation and for related matters 2024. And a bill for an act to provide for assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue occurring to the Federation, federal, state, and local government, prescribe the powers and functions of tax authorities and for related matters 2024. Also, a bill for an act to repeal certain acts on taxation and consolidate the legal frameworks relating to taxation and enact the Nigeria Tax Act to provide for taxation of income, transactions, and instruments and for related matters. Sponsor of the bills, Senate Majority Leader Bamidele Opeyemi, explained the general principles, saying the proposed legislation, if passed into law, will make a paradigm shift in tax administration in Nigeria to the advantage of all. Senator Ali Ndume, however, raised concerns on the sanctity of the reforms, saying it contradicts certain provisions of the Constitution, insisting that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, should have been re-amended to reflect the desire of tax reform. Senator Ndume also cited the bill's rejection by Nigeria Governors Forum and the National Executive Council, as well as by traditional rulers and other stakeholders, noting that it was not against the reforms as some provisions are good for development of a robust tax administration system in Nigeria. He stressed that necessary steps should have been taken to follow due process in line with parliamentary rules. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, after listening to Senator Ndume, as well as presentations by Senator Sedeke Dixon and Mohammed Ali Munguno, who supported the bills, passed the bill for second reading through voice vote. The House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, to ensure the enforcement of the directive on meter replacement at no cost to the customer. The call followed the adoption of a motion moved by the member representing Ndokwa Okwane Federal Constituency, Right Honorable Nnamdi Ezechi, at yesterday's plenary. The House mandated its Committee on Power to investigate distribution companies, discuss non-compliance, and assess consumers' contributions to repairs. It's called on the Federal Ministry of Power to prioritize the funding of electricity infrastructure upgrade while directing DISCOS to adopt a transparent system of meter upgrades with penalties for non-compliance. Honorable Ezechi, while moving the motion earlier, said it was intended to address the ongoing metering crisis and related challenges in Nigeria's electricity distribution sector, adding that the motion underscores the failure of distribution companies, DISCOS, to replace obsolete meters as mandated by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, and the financial burdens placed on electricity consumers due to inadequate infrastructure. Honorable Ezechi emphasized the need for transparency and efficiency in the electricity sector, stressing or expressing the hope that the resolutions would lead to significant improvement for electricity consumers nationwide. And back home, still talking lawmaking, the State House of Assembly Committee on Health has scheduled a public hearing on a bill for a law to establish the College of Health Technology, Urode, and other related purposes for Wednesday 4 at the Assembly Press Complex, slated for 2 in the afternoon. A statement by the Chairman, House Committee on Health, Honorable Ferguson Owo, said, arising from plenary held on Wednesday, November 13, the House referred the bill to the House Committee on Health for further legislative scrutiny and action. To this end, the committee is calling for inputs from the state ministries of health, justice, the College of Health Technology, UFOMA, civil societies, organizations, and other stakeholders in the health sector. The statement urged interested individuals and organizations to send to the clerk of the committee 12 copies of their memoranda on the bill, enclosed in a steel envelope addressed to the Chairman, House Committee on Health. It added that the envelope should be marked and sent to the College of Health. The Minister of Health, Professor Mohammed Pate, has urged the Rehabilitation Technical Working Group, RTWG, to develop and implement a rehabilitation strategic plan in the country. Professor Pate, at the inaugural ceremony in Abuja today, emphasized the importance of addressing disability inclusivity in health to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs 2030. He noted that persons with disabilities were more susceptible to poverty, which exacerbated their conditions. He stressed that Nigeria must address disability issues to achieve sustainable development and societal change. The minister tasked the 15-member RTWG to work with the Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board, MRTB, to develop a rehabilitation strategic plan aligned with the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. The registrar of the MRTB, Mr. Rufai Ahmed, highlighted the minister's efforts to strengthen rehabilitation in Nigeria's health system. Mr. Ahmed emphasized collaboration to develop rehabilitation strategic plan and integrate rehabilitation into primary health care and establish rehabilitation centers nationwide. The State House of Assembly Committee on Health has scheduled a public hearing on a bill for a law to establish the College of Health Technology, Urede, and other related matters for Wednesday, December 4 at the Assembly Press Complex, slated for 2 in the afternoon. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has struck out the National Broadcasting Code 6th edition, requiring broadcasting outfits to pay 2.5% of their gross annual income as an annual operating levy. The judgment came as a suit filed by MultiChoice Nigeria Limited and Details Nigeria Limited, GoTV, against the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. Upon delivering the verdict at the Federal High Court, Abuja, on Wednesday, Justice Omotosho said that, with his experience as a trained economics teacher, running a business like the plaintiffs required significant capital and expenses. He added that it was only fair that the expenses be deducted before the annual operating levy was paid, and the provision was struck down and replaced with net annual income instead of the existing gross annual income. The court also barred NBC from demanding the plaintiffs' VAT remittance, FIRS reports, bank statements, audit adjustment journals, trial balances, and general ledgers for the purpose of computing the plaintiff's annual income, other than the annual audited accounts of the companies as stipulated in the NBC Code. The judge stated that the NBC can only access the other financial documents of MultiChoice through the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, saying that the annual operating levy charged by the NBC was a form of tax imposed on broad firms, as it would be unjust to impose it on their gross. He said that net income was the actual profit after subtracting all business expenses, noting that the taxable amount could not be determined while calculating gross profit, but be based on net profit, while stressing that it was only proper and lawful to impose a levy on the net income in line with the tax laws and global best practices. He cited the United States, where companies pay flat rate of 21% on their profits after all expenses had been deducted, and 25% corporation tax imposed on company profit in the United Kingdom. Justice Omotosho noted that the plaintiffs had provided credible and documented evidences showing they had consistently paid their annual operating levy, AOL, and had not defaulted, while the defendant did not challenge the document, noting that the NBC's claims of 4 billion naira, as stated in its letter dated August 15, 2003, was not supported by evidences. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has mandated all licensed telecommunications operators to upgrade their contact details in January or by January 9 next year, in compliance with the licensing regulations 2019. The directive aligns with the NCC's efforts to enhance regulatory processes, improve industry oversight, and strengthen Nigeria's telecommunications sector. The Commission cautioned that non-compliance could attract penalties such as fines, license suspension, or revocation. The NCC's Director of Public Affairs, Mr. Ruben Morga, stated that operators must report changes to their contact details within 7 days and submit updates to the Commission's services platform. The required information includes principal place of business, complete address with postcode, geographic coordinates, and notable landmarks. The NCC emphasized that these measures aim to streamline communication and maintain effective collaboration within the telecom sector. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo have reversed his approval of free bus services across the state announced earlier. The initial directive, as outlined in a press statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Mr. Fred Itua, stated that the free bus service would cover intercity routes with Benin Metropolis and intercity routes across the 3 senatorial districts. It was intended to reflect Senator Okpebholo's commitment to enhancing the welfare of Edo residents. The CPS explained that the governor was being briefed on operational issues within the Edo City Transport Service, which manages the free bus initiative. The reversal has raised questions about the operational and logistical challenges facing the program, leaving residents awaiting further clarifications on the state's transportation policies. The Trade Unions Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has called on the federal government to pay the remaining 3 months arrears of the wage award and review the Nigerian labor laws. The demand was made at the 7th Registrar of Trade Unions Annual National Workshop, which aimed to address labor administration challenges in Nigeria. TUC President Comrade Festus Osifo, represented by Tommy Okon, emphasized the need for a symbiotic relationship between government and workers. Comrade Osifo appealed to the Minister of Labor and Employment, Mr. Muhammadu Dingyadi, to ensure the completion of the reviews of Nigerian labor law, which had been abandoned for some years, and ensure payment for the outstanding wage award. He listed challenges facing Nigerian workers, including prompt salary payment, addressing workers' welfare, the 3 months wage award agreed upon by the government that had not been paid, and the arrears were still pending. Mr. Dingyadi assured the labor leaders that he would look into their demands, commending the unions for their contributions to the labor movement. The workshop with the theme, Best Practices for Social Partners, Engagement in a Challenging Economy, had representatives of various affiliate bodies at the event. Amnesty International has reported that no fewer than 24 protesters were allegedly killed and over 1,200 others detained by the Nigeria police during the nationwide #EndBadGovernance protest. The organization's country director, Mr. Isa Sanusi, disclosed this today while addressing a news conference in Kano State. Mr. Sanusi, who presented a documented report on the protest, said those killed included 20 young people, an older person and 2 children. He said the death toll could be higher than 24 because of the authorities' apparent desperate efforts to cover up the atrocities. You're watching Delta TV Main News at 8. Still to come, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatens attacks on Ukraine's government offices. Stay with us.
The Quest for the Helpless Initiative NGO recognizes exemplary individuals and organizations who have contributed to the development of humanity. They are His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor Lagos State; His Excellency Sheriff Oboroweri, Governor Delta State; His Excellency Yusuf Abbas, Governor Kano State; Mr. Aliko Dangote, Chairman Dangote Group; Mr. Paul Kagame, President Rwanda; Right Honorable Anthony Alburns, Australia; Right Honorable Christopher Luxon, New Zealand; The event comes up on the 15th day of December 2024 at the Admiralty Conference Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Time 6 p.m. For sponsorship and advertisement, call 0809-273-7078. Supported by the Mayor of Housing, TSS Multimedia International Limited, Kekes Food Industry, and Tesco's Engineering Limited.
My sister, my brother, my friend, look before you leap, because not all that glitters are gold. Beware of human trafficking fueled by desperation to travel abroad illegally. Shun irregular migration. Don't fall prey to traffickers. Thousands have died in the deserts. Others end up as sex slaves or in forced labor. Our people, especially traditional religious leaders, churches, youths, women and men, come and join Women Aid Collective, WACO, Edo State Government and NAPTIP to combat this evil. It is in our hands to stop it. This message is brought to you by Women Aid Collective, WACO, with support from the government of Switzerland.
If you see something, say something.
For contact and more information, visit our office at Suite 16, Jesurobo Complex, 133, 2nd East Circular Road, Nekpe Junction, Benin City.
Call our hotline
0811 363 7777.
You're watching Delta TV main news at 8. We'll go straight to the foreign scene, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has threatened to attack decision-making centers of the Ukraine capital of Kiev with the country's new ballistic missile. President Putin was speaking during a visit to Kazakhstan hours after Russia launched a comprehensive strike in Ukraine's energy grid overnight, leaving more than 1 million people without power. However, there were no fatalities. Russian President said the strike was a response to continued attacks on Russia's territory by ATACMS missiles. Ukraine used ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles to strike inside Russian territory last week for the first time since the full-scale invasion of February 2022, following approval by the Western suppliers, the US, the UK, and France. The overnight Russian strike unfolded over several hours, with waves of drones and missiles flying across the length and breadth of Ukraine, the second attack of its kind this month. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said cluster munitions were used specifically against civilian and energy infrastructure. And now, business news. Let's join our business news desk for stories in the business world.
Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has cautioned investors and the general public against engaging with Marino FS Limited, which is falsely claiming to be a SEC licensed cryptocurrency exchange. In a statement released yesterday, the Commission website regulator clarified that Marino FS. In a statement released yesterday on the Commission website, the regulator clarified that Marino FS Limited is neither registered nor licensed by the SEC to operate in the Nigerian capital markets in any capacity, including cryptocurrency exchange services. The Commission further urged investors to avoid transacting with Marino FS Limited or its representatives, noting that dealing with unregistered entities exposes investors to significant risk, including fraud and potential loss of investments. On the other hand, the House of Representatives yesterday resolved to invite the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Kadoso, and the Chief Executive Officers of commercial banks to appear before it to propose solutions to the challenges posed by lack of documentation of points of sale POS users across the country. The resolution of the House followed the consideration and adoption of a motion sponsored by the member representing Ehime Mbano Mboma Mbowo Federal Constituency Imo State Honorable John Okafor during yesterday's plenary. Lobbying his colleagues for support for the motion, the lawmaker identified the increasing challenges associated with the undocumented identities of POS users in Nigeria. According to him, cases of fraudulent activities within the financial system have been established against POS users.
And now, back home. The online application into the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, Kaduna, for the 77th regular course has commenced and will end on Wednesday, April 30, 2025. A statement by Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary in the State Ministry of Information, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says admission is open to both male and female candidates, adding that candidates who are Deltans should visit the application portal on the NDA website at www.ndaapplications.net to register by clicking or selecting the Purchase Access Code to fill in their details and pay 7,000 Naira only to obtain order ID and remitter retrieval reference RRR code. The statement also enjoined applicants to apply in the forthcoming 2025 Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM and choose NDA as their first choice of institution and score at least 210 points for engineering and 180 points for arts, social science, and science courses, and would be enabled to print the screening test admission card and be considered for the screening test. Interested candidates are expected to attend the screening test scheduled for Saturday, May 24, 2025, at the Army Day Secondary School of Supply and Transport, NSST, Ubo, Benin City, Edo State. Candidates have been requested to come along with acknowledgement form, screening test admission card, JAM result slip, and 2 postcard-sized photographs to the screening test center. The photograph should show only from the chest upwards and must bear the candidate's name, examination number, state, exam center, course of study, and signature at the back. Only successful candidates at the NDA screening test will be invited for interview by the Armed Forces Selection Board, upon which the list of admitted candidates would be published. The statement explained that candidates admitted into the NDA for the 77th regular course would undergo both military and academic training as officer cadets for 5 years, and on successful completion of training, graduates will earn an honors degree in a core discipline and a presidential commission into the Armed Forces of Nigeria. The December 2024 series of examination conducted for different categories of junior staff by the State Directorate of Establishments and Pensions have been scheduled for Friday, 6th, Saturday, 7th December 2024. A government statement says the examination will hold at the Staff Training Center, Asaba, and the Hussey College, Warri. The statement said the affected examination are limited competitive examination for messengers, cleaners, sub-technical and allied grades, confirmation and promotion examination for clerical assistants, SDL 03, confirmation and promotion examination for clerical officers, SDL 04, adding that the examination would start at 2 p.m. on Friday, 6th, and 9 a.m. on Saturday, 7th December. It added that one-day refresher course has been scheduled to hold for candidates of the examinations on Thursday at the Staff Training Center, Asaba, at 9 in the morning. The monthly environmental sanitation exercise of the month of November will hold on Saturday between the hours of 7 in the morning and 10 in the morning. A statement by Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says there will be no restriction of movement of persons and vehicles on account of the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WASC, across the Federation, while advising residents to cut overgrown weeds, the sales drainages, and keep the environment clean to prevent the spread of diseases, as it is the responsibility of all residents to clean 20 meters radius of their premises. According to the statement, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejiro Jamani, staff of the Ministry, Task Force on Environment, and relevant stakeholder will monitor the exercise, adding that officials of the State Waste Management Board, Local Government Council, and other relevant authorities will evacuate the resultant waste to approved dump sites. It warned that those found not taking part in the exercise were brought before the Mobile Magistrate Court for prosecution. The death has been announced of Mr. Jacob Chukwuneku Onwubuya, also known as Onye Kemezeni, of Idumueze Ebudu Quarters, Ebuduaka, and Ocha South local government area. According to the burial program signed by the son of the deceased, Elder J.C. Onwubuya, says the funeral service was held on Friday, November 29, at the family compound, Idumueze Ebudu Quarters. Interment and reception would be at a residence. Traditional rites would hold on Saturday, November 30, at 9 in the morning at the family compound, while a Thanksgiving service will hold at the Christ Chosen Church of God, Ebuduaka, on Sunday, December 1. Late Mr. Jacob Chukwuneku Onwubuya was aged 81. Now here's our thought for the day. Kindness is a muscle that must be exercised. The more you give, the more you will receive. And on that kind note, we sum up our bulletin for the evening, but before we go, a quick look on our major stories. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has presented staff of office to the Asagba of Asaba, Obi Professor Epiphany Chibogo Azinge San, with a charge on him to champion the unity and development of his domain. The Senate has passed President Bola Tinubu's controversial tax reform bills for a second reading. The bills, which includes a bill for an act to establish the Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria and for other related matters, 2024. The House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, to ensure the enforcement of its directive on meter replacement at no cost to the customers. The call followed the adoption of a motion moved by the member representing the Ndokwa Okwani Federal Constituency, Right Honorable Nnamdi Ezechi, at yesterday's plenary. And from the foreign scene, we reported that Russian President Vladimir Putin threatens attacks on Ukraine's government offices. And that's the news. Many thanks for being part of it. My name is Francis Ofulwe. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Let's go! No. Let's go. If we continue like this now, where we go end? Bros, calm down.